Assalamu alaikum, Jafar. Thank you for scheduling this special interest group session on IoT. So I welcome you all to the eighth special interest group meeting. We have a series of 6 sessions every 4 weeks on Internet of Things. Previously, in the earlier sessions, we had speakers from different technologies, different universities share with us, and even from different industries share with us as to what's the latest and greatest in the IoT field. Today, I'll be sharing with you about if you are somebody who is interested in building an IoT practice, and by that I mean building an IoT business, how you can go about doing it. This is the agenda for today's talk. We'll have some opening remarks by Dr. Arshad Ali. Dr. Arshad Ali is the president of SPINN Labs and formerly the executive director of Higher Education Commission. This will be followed by my session on building an IoT practice, and after that we'll have an open discussion forum. The recording of this session will be made available on our YouTube channel as well as our website. So in case you miss a part of this, you are always welcome to go and listen into the recordings. Since I see Dr. Ashar is not with us, so we'll start with the building an IoT practice. The objective of today's session is to essentially help anybody jumpstart into IoT industry by using a proven methodology known as IoT Practice Builder methodology by Tech Data. Tech Data, a global technology distributor slash solution integrator app, which works with the OEMs like Microsoft, IBM, Oracle, and all the big names in the IT industry. The reason of setting up this objective is because IoT industry is inherently very complex. If you want to become a data scientist, you can start towards that journey by maybe getting some certifications, some badges, doing some projects, and finally landing a job or maybe starting your own thing. But IoT industry has so many moving pieces. Generally, it is very difficult to go into IoT industry. So today I'll help you jumpstart. There's a particular reason that I've used the word jumpstart because we'll be leveraging the existing. जब आप ऐड करते रहिएगा. So today we'll be leveraging existing industry solutions and trying to find how you can build effective IoT practice using that. So I'll be sharing with you some of the existing market ready solutions जो कि Intel और Microsoft की तरफ से already available हैं. So in other words, if you want to go into IoT industry, you don't have to build all these sensors, maybe the edge computing needs, cloud computing or softwares all by yourself. All of these bits and pieces are already available within the market, and today I'll share with you how you can leverage them. To achieve this objective, this is the agenda that I've set. First, I would like to share with you as to why IoT industry matters. Some of you may have already decided to pursue a career in IoT, and some maybe are still sort of on the fence and deciding whether to go into cybersecurity, to cloud, or maybe they're not sure whether IoT is really that much useful going forward. Then I'll be sharing with you as to why it is generally very challenging compared to other industry heading into IoT. This will be followed by the IoT Practice Builder methodology by Tech Data, and then I'll share with you some of the solutions that are market ready or RFP ready solutions by Microsoft and Intel. Excuse me. IoT is, to put things into perspective, this is a 2020 report, and the IoT industry globally for devices and services is about $742 billion, and about 35% of this goes to the solution providers, which is about $263 billion. And the reason I'm mentioning this is because in IoT industry, you could be a player that makes sensors, you could be a player that makes the networking equipment that is tuned for an IoT solution. You may be a software developer within the IoT systems, or you could be a cloud provider itself. But solution integrators or solution providers are those कंपनीज दोज इंडस्ट्री प्लेयर्स जो कि इन तमाम फैक्टर्स को जो कि ऑलरेडी एग्जिस्ट कर रहे होते हैं उनको इकट्ठा करके एक पर्टिकुलर कस्टमर के प्रॉब्लम को सॉल्व करते हैं एंड इफ यू सी एट दिस नंबर a major chunk of the overall industry doesn't go to those who build those components, but those who bring all of them together. And to put this into perspective, अगर मैं आज आपसे पूछूं कि what is the hottest topic in IT, so the most likely answer could be cyber security, could be AI, could be cloud. But guess what? Cyber security industry का total volume was $124 billion only, and compared to that, IoT is worth $742 billion. Now this begs question कि फिर लोग IoT industry में इतना क्यों नहीं जाते? And that's because of some of the challenges that IoT industry poses. So first challenge that I feel that I have seen in industry is familiarity. If you are, for example, heading into AI or cloud, most of the things अगर आप cloud में जा रहे होंगे तो components are exactly those जो कि on-prem infrastructure का किसी ज़माने में होते थे. On-prem infrastructure के लिए you would need some networking equipment, you would need some maybe network attached storages, you would need some switches and so on. And you know you would have some bare metal systems on your own premises. And if you're heading into cloud, the same terminology is used in cloud also. थोड़ी सी उसकी packaging different हो गई है in the form of software as a service, platform as a service, and so on. But when it comes to IoT, the familiarity is a big challenge. Uh, because of the different moving pieces, इसके अंदर data science भी involved है, AI भी involved है, machine learning भी involved है, hardware भी involved है. Hardware is a universe in itself. What kind of sensors could you use? Then edge computing, उसमें compute network storage क्या होनी चाहिए, network के parameters क्या होने चाहिए. All of that goes to a cloud central repository, वो क्या होना चाहिए, वहाँ पे आपको किस किस्म की machines लेनी. So because of these so many different pieces, a single entity is not familiar with all of them. So that's one of the big challenges. The second challenge is contextuality. And by that, I mean uh, IoT solutions are very specific to a particular industry. So for example, uh, अगर मैं if I make some temperature sensors, अगर वो टेम्परेचर सेंसर मैं एक ऑफिस इन्वायरमेंट के लिए बना रहा हूँ तो वो कुछ डिफरेंट होगा. वो जो सोल्यूशन है वो काफ़ी फ़र्क होगा कंपेयर टू अ टेम्परेचर सेंसिंग सिस्टम जो कि मैं इंडस्ट्री में किसी जहाँ पे बहुत बड़े बॉयलर प्लांट लगे हुए हैं मैं उनके लिए बना रहा हूँ. वहाँ पे मुझे ये भी देखना है कि बॉयलर की अपने टेम्परेचर्स तो बहुत ज़्यादा होंगे तो वो तो मेरा सेंसर ही वहीं पे मेल्ट डाउन हो जाएगा. मैंने इसको कितनी दूर रखना है, वट आर अदर इन्वायरमेंटल फैक्टर्स दैट कम इनटू प्ले. So in other words, any IoT system is very, very industry specific. Healthcare में same solution different तरह से बनाया जाएगा compared to something in the transport industry. So there's a huge contextuality when it comes to IoT. The third most important factor is complexity. Again, when you have all of these different moving pieces, the ability to understand all of them has its own complexity, and that then goes to the fourth item that I have here. जिसमें if you are a faculty or a student, or maybe you are somebody who is trying to build an IoT business, you would need somebody जिसको हार्डवेयर आती हो, जिसको बेसिक इंजीनियरिंग आती हो, डिफरेंट कंपोनेंट्स को सोल्डरिंग करना, आपस में जोड़ना, टू कन्वर्ट दैट इनटू अ प्रोडक्ट. फिर किसी को आईटी की जो क्लाउड इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर की चीज़ें वो आनी चाहिए. इन तमाम टेक्नोलॉजी एरियाज़ के अंदर अपनी इनेबलमेंट रिक्वायरमेंट्स हैं. हर एम्प्लॉय को आपने ट्रेन भी करना है, आपने वेंडर्स ढूंढने हैं जिनसे आप ये चीज़ें मे बी रॉ मटेरियल्स प्रोक्योर करेंगे, उनसे कैसे नेगोशिएशन करनी है, डिलीवरी टाइम्स क्या होंगे, एंड सो ऑन. सो because of these different challenges, जनरली फैकल्टी या इवन मैं आपको एग्जांपल दूं तो पाकिस्तान में बहुत सारी यूनिवर्सिटीज ऐसे हैं कोविड में जो कि आईओटी का सब्जेक्ट पढ़ा रहे थे, लेकिन वो घर से पढ़ा रहे थे, एंड देयर वर नो लैब्स हैपनिंग इन आईओटी. So because of all of these challenges, it is very difficult to build a career into IoT, be it a job or be it a business. Now that's where comes the IoT Practice Builder methodology. So आजकल के ज़माने में if you want to go into an IoT industry, the success is in match making the existing solutions with the customer requirements. All of these big OEMs, especially Intel and Microsoft, they have market ready IoT solutions. फॉर एग्जांपल अगर आपने विजुअल एनालिटिक्स करने हैं तो विजुअल एनालिटिक्स के दे हैव पैकेज देयर solution in such a manner that you can take them off the shelf with some form of customization and deploy them in the specific industry. So in order to be successful, this matchmaking is really important to be understood nowadays. अब मैं आपके साथ एक डेमो करूंगा वेयर आई वॉक यू थ्रू दिस practice builder methodology by Tech Data. Tech Data is a global distributor and solutions integrator, and this company works with the likes of IBM, Microsoft, Oracle. Basically, जितने बड़े OEMs हैं, इनके products को वो distribute करते हैं worldwide. And because of this, they have the ability or the overall picture of all the IoT solutions in the industry. And they have developed this methodology where you can bring together all of these pieces and deliver a solution to a customer. Uh, so I will start sharing again. So is my screen visible? Okay, I hope it is. So this is the link, practicebuilder.techdata.com/IoT. When you go to this link, what you do is you click Start Now. It will ask you to create an account. So I'll go ahead and create an account. Okay, I'll go and look into my email. So I think this went into my spam. Okay, got it. So set up a password. Okay, log in again. So when you start into Practice Builder, आपने जैसे ही अपना account set up किया, it will give you a bunch of questions, and these questions will be there to assess your current level of awareness and understanding of IoT. And this Practice Builder methodology has been essentially built for anybody who wants to go into business or building solutions for customers throughout the world. So I'll answer these questions from the perspective of a faculty. They may not be accurate, of course, but I'll try to relate them as closely to somebody in academia as possible. So how would your customer describe your business? I would say a faculty is generally providing services to industry, कोई projects कर रहे होते हैं. So maybe I'll put it in as IT supplier. What are the key areas that make up your solution offerings? So because we're trying to build IoT practice here, so I would not select IoT because I would like to have an understanding and I would like to start from with the very basics. So generally faculty provides professional services. I'll check that. How many employees do you have? Let's say if a faculty is having a couple of students or lab engineers. Does your organization have a 3-year strategy and defined goals? I would say no, because that's how the projects are. How would you rate your organization's pre-sales functions and relevant technical expertise? I would say I would need help, because that's the whole point of using this IoT practice builder. What are your organization's biggest challenges to building the IoT practice you envision? You would need capabilities, skills, training, lead generation, and sales. In the last financial year, what percentage of your organization's overall sales revenue came from hardware? So I would say maybe 0%. In the last financial year, what percentage of your organization's overall sales revenue came from software? So maybe I know faculty writes good softwares, hardware इतनी common नहीं होती. Continue. Considering your entire business area, what was the most profitable in last financial year? I would say services. Select the areas in which you see your organization investing in the next 3 years. I would say data center, employees, maybe have a couple of more guys in IoT, offer services, next generation technology systems. Do you provide a software as a service offering, or do you have any solutions that will move to SaaS based in future? So I would say not at the moment. Again, the reason I'm answering these, I'm clicking on these choices is to essentially show you the complete picture of the practice builder. Which areas do you see as the highest growth potential in the next 12 months? I would say IoT. In a typical IoT analytics customer discussion or solution delivery, which vendors would you include in the technology stack? So I know Cisco is the one that is big in IoT industry. I know Microsoft is. I know Intel is. How many sales rep you have? I would say less than 5, because most likely any uh, academia developed solution does not have a sales rep. Do your sales reps carry service quotas or accelerators? I would say no. How would you describe your organization's ability to successfully implement a marketing strategy? I would say need help, because with anyone starting out into IoT, they would need help. What is an area of your business in which you could see or you could use marketing support? So digital content, value proposition creation, lead generation, yes, marketing plan creation, and maybe outsource marketing. Have you hired specialized managed services, solution sales expertise, or retrained product-focused salespeople to sell services? So essentially, I would say no, because there are no such sales trainings in academia. What horizontal segments do you sell into? I would say anybody is aspiring to sell to large, so I would click large. What verticals do you sell into? I would check all of them just for the sake of, because our purpose here is to learn how you can build. And in regards to the environment on which your end users deploy your solution, which is the most relevant? So I would say hybrid, so that it covers both on-prem and off-prem. Which of the following cloud providers are you currently engaged with? So I know most of the faculty uses, or at least are aware with AWS, Azure. Google, not so much, and IBM also not so much. Which products or vendors do you sell today? Maybe I'll say Cisco, because that's something just networking equipment academia में काफी common है. Do you have or plan to create an IoT focused sales team? I would say yes. I think this should be the last set of questions. Do you have new business targets that include new technologies or customers? I would say yes, we want to build an IoT practice. Did you have any interest in taking robotic process automation? So because IoT के अंदर RPA is one of the key industry segments, so I would say yes. Are you currently tech data partner? No. So, okay, so solution identified completed, and now this should tell us your IoT capability level is starter. And that's the reason I was answering the questions the way I did, because I wanted to start with the basics. Now, this practice builder offers you 3 different levels of building a practice. So somebody who's really starting out and trying to get their feet wet in this industry at the moment, and they really have no idea where to begin with, this practice builder will offer you the starter package. But if you're somebody who has some idea and is sort of at an intermediate level, it will give you the transformer practice builder kit. Transformer Practice Builder is kit is essentially where you are trying to augment your existing knowledge. And then there is an accelerator. Accelerator is really for those entities who have a very well established IoT practice already in place, but they want to accelerate the progress in that. So okay, so when you come here, it will give you couple of modules, and that's really how you may want to approach building an IoT practice. So the first step is where you strategize and create a plan for your IoT practice, and this module will cover that part. I'll quickly go over all of these. I think there should be nine, and then we'll individually see as to what's the content in there. Once you have planned, then you sort of work in detail on your marketing by how to establish and control your marketing plan. So this is a whole course which has different modules in itself. Then you strategize about your operations. Operations से क्या मुराद है, लोग कितने हायर करने हैं, दफ्तर कहाँ पे होगा, हार्डवेयर को कैसे करना है, and so on. I'll show you a toolkit in few minutes now, जिसके अंदर ये सारी चीज़ें आप मैनेज कर सकते हैं. Then IoT solutions की pricing is another key area, क्योंकि इसके अंदर हार्डवेयर भी इन्वॉल्व है, सॉफ्टवेयर भी इन्वॉल्व है, क्लाउड की प्राइसिंग भी इन्वॉल्व है, सर्विसेज भी इन्वॉल्व है. सो प्राइसेस को कैसे मैनेज किया जाए, देयर इज अ कोर्स फॉर दैट. Then what are the variable costs? What if customer requires some kind of a customized solution? तो उसकी क्या आपने variable cost में कुछ fixed cost होंगी, maybe that you have to pay if you have for example a subscription to AWS, और उस subscription की कोई basic cost है, यहाँ पे आपने standard machines, कोई आपने EC2 instances हैं जो भी खड़े किए हुए हैं, उनकी एक monthly cost आ रही है, and you have not chosen the version where you pay only when it's live. So there are certain fixed costs that you will have to bear, there's certain variable costs. And if you're building an IoT practice, it is very important that you strategize and plan for the variable costs. Then how do you model the gross margin for different accounts? And यहाँ पे, if you have different key accounts, different customers, how do you strategize around maximizing your gross margin? Then structuring your fixed costs and then modeling your growth. Now, this is very important because if you're somebody, maybe a startup who is envisioning to go to some VC or a fund for investments, this whole toolkit will very comprehensively document your whole business model in a very presentable manner. So in this module, you can even forecast how do you see or envision your practice to grow in the years 1 to 5. And then there is a course. This is again a sample course if you are working in a healthcare industry. So this course is available. So I'll go to the first one where you essentially strategize and plan on building your practice. If you click on this link, you will see a couple of resources. The first is you start to review solutions catalog. Solutions catalog is essentially the existing set of solutions that are already available. Because remember, ये जो सारी practice building methodology है, this facilitates you in using what's already out there in the market. So the very first step in building an IoT practice is to first choose which industry you want to work in, maybe healthcare, maybe industrial segments, maybe retail, maybe smarter cities, and then to choose which particular use case you are going to focus on. So for example, healthcare के अंदर, these are 4 common use case areas: telehealth, telemedicine, patient experience. इंडस्ट्रियल या जो मैन्युफैक्चरिंग है उसके अंदर स्मार्टर बिल्डिंग्स आ जाती हैं, एनर्जी मॉनिटरिंग आ जाती है, एक्चुअल मैन्युफैक्चरिंग ऑपरेशंस को IoT से आप कैसे कर सकते हैं मैनेज. रिटेल सेक्टर में omni channel is one thing where you have online presence as well as physical presence. Then smarter cities का concept है, उसमें आप एजुकेशन सर्विसेज को कैसे IoT से more efficient बना सकते हैं. So the very step would be to identify your industry, identify your area within that industry, and then within that area, there are specific use cases. For example, telehealth के अंदर, these are the existing IoT solutions that are already pre-built by Intel and Microsoft. इनकी डिटेल्स मैं आपको couple of minutes down the line share करूँगा. So going back to this first step, the first step is to review the solutions catalog to see what is already out there available and choose the area what you want to go. Then once you have decided, okay, I want to work in healthcare and this is the telemedicine में मैं काम कर, so what are the skills do I need to have? So you can go onto this button and what you will find is this list of certifications. So these are different vendors और इन vendors की आगे certifications के links मौजूद हैं. So look at it this way. At this point, maybe you have no idea about IoT, and through this practice methodology, you can even develop those skills. So, for example, if you plan to use, if you plan to use automation anywhere's IoT solution, तो उसके लिए ये learning का link मौजूद है, जिस पे जाके आप RPA से related IoT की certifications ले सकते हैं, learning कर सकते हैं, and then the same goes for the different vendors that are out there in the market. So once you have gained the skills for the area that you are interested in, then you start to build this Excel. When you click on this link, which is completing the value proposition worksheet, this worksheet is essentially an Excel file which helps you document your strategy, your skills, your operations, your fixed costs, variable costs, gross margin, and so on. And when you click at this link, this is what you'll get. So this is the toolkit that they provide for free. So when you are starting out an IoT practice, you can fill out your company's name, आप कहाँ पे operate करना चाहेंगे, offering क्या होगी. So they have given this sample product that is an IoT based solution to measure the temperature for the COVID-19 pre-screening. And then you go on to flush out this Excel with the relevant information as much as it is available, company profile, individual profile. So what are the needs of this solution when it comes to customer? You would want कि मैं अपने employees को protect करना चाहता हूँ, customers को, general public को जिसके लिए मैंने product बनाया है. These are the problems that this product will solve. You will put in a description of the product, usage क्या होगी, then technologies क्या क्या इसके अंदर आप use करेंगे. Sorry. So these are some of the technologies. You would need a camera, you would need a temperature sensor, maybe you would need a GPS, you would need maybe a LiDAR sensor and so on. So once you have done the pre-screening sort of for your business idea, then you will go on to build the value proposition, which is a detailed version of the pre-screening, जहाँ पे आप अपनी market positioning भी mention करेंगे, competition आपका कौन है, आपका indirect competition कौन है, what are some of the killer features. Killer features are those which are really your key USP, which will sell your solution. Once you have put in this value prop, then you go on to document your operations. Operations से मुराद क्या है, स्ट्रैटेजी के लेवल पे क्या काम करने हैं, मैंने मैनेजमेंट को अलाइन करना है, मे बी अपनी यूनिवर्सिटी में ये कौन करेगा, कब तक करेगा, उसका स्टेटस क्या है. सो this Excel will essentially be a living document which you can use to manage and track all of the key variables while you're building this IoT practice. और वो variables चाहे operations में हो, go to market strategy के लिए हो, pricing के लिए हो, margin को manage करने के लिए हो, या sales and general administration के लिए हो, या so on. So coming back to operations, प्रोडक्ट डेवलपमेंट की इसमें स्ट्रेटजी आप डिफाइन कर सकते हैं कि मैंने प्रोडक्ट को टेस्ट कब करना है, कस्टमर से कब टेस्टिंग करनी है, मैंने डेमोज की एबिलिटी को कब सेटअप करना है. फिर यू कैन सेटअप द वेरिएबल्स व्हेन इट कम्स टू द ओवरऑल बिजनेस मॉडल, and then you can decide the go-to-market, branding, and so on. Operation. I'm not going to go into the details because of the time we have, but this Excel will essentially, with the pre-built set of data, help you manage your IoT practice. Then go-to-market may, all of those individual tabs, individual sections that we see here. Then there are separate tabs for these. So go-to-market may you can identify कि हमने sales में पहले team कौन सी build करनी है. हमने what kind of digital presence would we need? Do we need to have a website? Do we need to have social media pages? Landing page कैसा होगा? Contact us कैसा होगा? कस्टमर का इंटरेस्ट कैसे जनरेट करना है, कोई इवेंट्स एग्जीक्यूट करने हैं, लीड्स को कैसे जनरेट करना है. जब लीड्स जनरेट हो जाएं, कस्टमर को कन्विंस कर लिया है, तो उसके लिए ट्रांजैक्शन मॉडल क्या होगा, क्या वो ऑनलाइन आके मेरी वेबसाइट पे परचेज करेगा, मैं वन ऑफ माय सेल्समैन वुड सेल दिस और नॉट एंड सो ऑन। देन प्राइसिंग के ऊपर देयर इज एन एक्सेल, there's a worksheet that you can use similarly for cost of goods sold, जिसमें आप cost of goods sold को मेजर कर सकते हैं, gross margins, sales and general administration के expenses क्या क्या होंगे, what are some of the business assumptions, for example if you assumed कि मैं in a certain niche market healthcare के अंदर मैं maybe government hospitals को छोटे लेवल के हैं उनको मैं सेल कर सकता हूँ, तो यहाँ पे आप अपनी उन assumptions की बेस पे forecasting कर सकते हैं कि मे बी इन ईयर वन स्मॉलर अकाउंट्स कितने मैं एक्वायर करूंगा, मीडियम अकाउंट्स कितने एक्वायर करूंगा, लार्ज अकाउंट्स कितने होंगे, मे बी कुछ में डिक्रीज हो रहा होगा, चर्न रेट को आप मेजर कर सकते हैं, सो ऑन। एंड देन एट द एंड यू कैन measure and track your profit and loss through this Excel. Coming back to the to this web page, यहाँ पे इस IoT Practice Builder methodology के लिए specific videos भी मौजूद हैं, because each of those Excel worksheets there is a certain way to fill them out. So I'll share my computer audio and play a section of this video just to explain कि ये worksheet जो इसके बनाने वाले हैं how do they recommend कि आप इसको use करें. I hope you can hear the audio. Is the audio okay?
Hi, everyone. The very first tab on the Business Simulator tool is all about your company's profile and your value proposition. So, in pretty fictitious.
So you see, यहाँ पे ये this guy Thomas, he is going to give you a complete walkthrough of the Excel that I just showed you.
Company in here to give you some examples. Now, what you would want to do is look at the yellow areas, the text that's in yellow, and then change it, obviously, for your company. So it's your name, it's your company profile, it's your region, your reach, your market reach. And then what we want to talk about after that is a little bit about your offering that you're taking to market. In this example, we have the COVID-19 temperature pre-screening solution. So what we've done is taking the value proposition and all the information and kind of templatized it for you. So you'll notice in this section, the target customers. Obviously, you need to know that. In this particular instance, we're looking at healthcare and asset management for the types of companies that we want to target. Within that area, you're looking at an individual profile such as business administrators, principals, safety officers, COOs, security officers, and don't forget facility managers. Because if someone comes in the building, you want to be able to pre-screen for it. You want to capture what the needs are. What is the needs of that individual? What are they trying to accomplish? And then the next section is what is the problem yet you're trying to solve for? So you have needs, but you also have the problem, right? Needs may not be a problem. So you want to capture both of those. They may be the same, they may be different, okay? Then what we do is we go through and we look at, okay, what's the product? What's the solution itself? So we've captured some information here. This is a non-contact solution. Subjects need to be pre-screened for temperature, etc. Okay, you have some immediate results that you can get based on that particular solution. The usage or go-to-market model, or how you're going to bill your client, is basically how they're going to consume it. Okay, so it's going to be a people counting. It's a point solution. If you have more than one of these, there may be some cloud consumption. So you can aggregate the data from all of these temperature pre-screening solutions cameras and capture all the information into a dashboard, for example. Okay. The next section is what is the technology included in the solution. Here we have, in this particular example, it's IntelliSight. It happens to have cameras, it happens to have a temperature sensor, happens to have a workstation, the touch screen, a router, etc. Okay. Here's where another section is the services. In some cases, the customer is going to install or set up the camera itself. If you have more than one and you need to, like I mentioned, use the cloud consumption to aggregate the data, you may want to include some services here. Services could be one-time setup fees. Could be that there's some algorithms you need to adjust for the particular camera situation at the facility. Maybe warm, it may be cold, it may be changing temperatures during the day. You may say, hey, I'm going to provide some training with this, or I'm going to provide X amount of remote consulting if you have a question within a quarter, so 3 months, okay? The other things here is pricing models. So the pricing model in this particular instance is per camera, plus services, plus any cloud consumption that you may have. The next section is all about positioning. So what's the main benefits for the particular solution itself? What's the direct competition that you might face when talking to that end user prospect? What is your indirect competition as well? Now, this last thing here should not be overlooked. It's your killer feature. So if I'm going to purchase this temperature pre-screening solution in this example, why should I buy it from you as a reseller versus someone else? Maybe you have lots of experience in a particular industry. Maybe you have track record in selling particular hardware or software solution and you have experience with it. Put down what your value is and what effect that has on a buying decision, okay? Or hopefully how you influence that buying decision.
Okay, so as you saw in the video, each of these modules have their own videos and content available that you can use to build your IoT practice from strategy to selling. And each of these have their own contents available. So I'll go back to my PowerPoint and share with you the last item on my agenda, which was what are some of the available existing analytics and IoT solutions out there in the market. So Tech Data has its own catalog, which summarizes some of the existing IoT solutions in different industries. Then Intel has their two sets of catalogs. One are what they call the RFP ready IoT kits, and the other are the market ready IoT solutions. So let's take a look first at the Tech Data's catalog. And okay, so I'll go to the top again. So this catalog essentially shows you the existing IoT solutions that are available in these four industries: healthcare, industrial sector, retail, and smarter cities. I want to go to the smarter cities section just to share with you what are some of the IoT solutions available in the education sector. These are four different areas in which, when it comes to smarter cities, there are existing IoT solutions. So there are solutions for public safety and surveillance, in the transportation connected transit sector, in the environmental monitoring, and the education services. If we click here, these are the different set of use cases within the education services for which there are existing IoT solutions available. So, for example, you want to make your schools safe, and we want to see what are the existing IoT solutions available. I'll go ahead and click there. So this is a solution, Safer Schools, that is available by, or essentially that leverages Cisco, Atlas, and these are the different companies whose various components are used in this solution. This brief sort of lists you what is the target audience, who are the key stakeholders. Let's say if you are going to use this solution and sell to your geography or your territory, it sort of gives you the conversation starters. What are the challenges that you should be on the lookout for? What are the people you should be approaching, and so on. And then it also shows you the technology stack that this solution is built on. Similarly, within the education sector, vaping detection is a problem. If the kids are smoking e-cigarettes, so you can use this solution to detect that and prevent that maybe. And then if you are interested in student tracking and Wi-Fi for the buses of your school, there is a solution already available for that. Then there are IoT RFP ready, Intel's RFP ready IoT kits. And this is again a catalog of solutions by Intel. So for example, if we want to look at the RFP kits by, let's say agriculture, we're an agriculture country. So these are the different solutions that are available in the agriculture sector. There are solutions for assets and operation management, for situational monitoring, for control optimization, product inspection, machine condition and monitoring, logistics and tracking, and so on. These are the solutions available, IoT solutions available for the banking sector, financial services industry. These are then few more solutions available. These are some in the logistics industry. So for example, if we take a look at this solution in the education sector, a source intelligent edge solution for smart retail. So then this goes on to give you a really in-depth review of what this solution does, what is the value proposition, what are the key contacts at Intel if you plan to, use this and sell within your IoT practice in your territory. So then there are certain Intel market-ready IoT solutions. The difference between RFP-ready and market-ready is where you are responding to an RFP, you have certain timeline where you can customize that IoT kit. But in case of a market-ready solution, you can take that solution instantly and start selling it because they are tailored to a very specific use case. So this is the Intel's marketplace for market-ready solutions. You can come to this link and this will show you in a minute a couple of filters that you can use to find a solution or a business area that you want to focus on. So for example, you can select between these filters, what kind of environment that you're looking at, what kind of processors that you want to have in your solutions, and then a couple of more filters. So you can also have some business filters. So if you are going to be selling in, let's say, automotive, then this should show you the IoT market-ready kits that are ready for the automotive sector. So there is a secure OS vlogs, there is a Cisco connected rail, there is a connected transport solution, and so on. So all of these solutions are already available in the market. And if you're somebody who wants to build an IoT business, an IoT practice, an IoT startup, you do not need to reinvent the wheel. You can always go out and leverage these existing market-ready, RFP-ready solutions. The content is available, the enablement is available, the go-to-market guides are available. You can organize yourself using this Excel for your RFP practice, your IoT practice, and start bringing value to your customers. So with this, I'll stop, and maybe if there are any questions or any curious. So the next session on IoT is going to be 4 weeks from now. Stay tuned and keep checking your emails. Jafar will be sharing the invites for the next IoT session. We thank you for joining and have a nice evening.